Hello everypony, Prince Alagorn of Aquilonia here, and today I am going to try to review this week's episode, Bats! This is by far the hardest episode in the entire series to review. It follows the Season 4 trend of being highly entertaining, but deeply flawed. The problem here is that there's such a huge disconnect between the entertainment value of the episode and the actual objective quality of it that it makes putting a numerical score almost impossible. It contains some stuff that's really cool, but it also contains some stuff that's borderline atrocious. Not that I expect anything different from a Meriwether Williams episode, of course. You'd know what you're getting with her. Okay, let's start off with what I liked. First of all, let's start with how it contrasts Applejack and Fluttershy. Part of me wants to hate AJ this episode because I tend to view her and Flutters as two sides of the same Earth Mother archetype. And in this, she seems reduced to a simple business pony, more concerned with her immediate financial situation than with ethics or possible long-term benefits. Then I remember that this actually works well as a dynamic between the two, because they act as mirror images of each other. In many ways, Fluttershy is a Kurunos or Herne type, the protector of animals, and the god of the hunt, but that's not the important aspect here. While Applejack is the Green Man, the keeper and spirit of the vegetation. Both are essentially the same being, the god of the forest, the manifestation of the spirit of life itself, but both act in different ways to represent different aspects of that forest. Next is the atmospherics, as portrayed in the animation. They're palpable and really well done. This is an eerie episode without breaking the show. I especially love the use of contrast in light and dark in the song, and with the use of silhouette. Speaking of the song, it's not as catchy as Heartstrong as Horses, but I actually like this better. It's got a great Danny Elfman quality, sounding a lot like something from the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack. Next, Fluttershy was, I think, well written in general, and fuck it, I thought Flutterbat was fucking adorable. I'm sorry, but the only way you can make Flutter stop being adorable is to make her an insufferable cunt, like in Putting Her Hoof Down, or having her get her face smashed in. Otherwise, she's always going to be cute. Another good thing was Flutterbat itself. I think there's interesting potential there if the tease at the end isn't a complete cop-out. Think about this. Fluttershy is the one that taught Discord some semblance of control. What if he now has to teach her some control? I don't know about you, but that would be pretty fucking sweet to me. The episode also seems to have a lot of things it wants to say. It has a lot of side morals to teach. There's ecological messages, there's humane pest control messages, there's general animal rights messages, there's peer pressure messages. And also, Fluttershy won. She was right. And AJ had to bite herself in the ass and admit it. Though probably not because Fluttershy was right, but because she realizes Fluttershy's plan was more practical. That's an impressive list of things, and you can see why the entertainment factor is so high after that. But let's see what went wrong here. First, honestly, Fluttershy's peer pressure end of the moral wasn't necessary, since it was AJ that needed to learn from her. Then there's the fact that we have yet another crazy premise. That's, what, 3 of them now in this season that are just completely batshit nuts? Pardon the pun. Oh boy, yeah. I don't know what you say to that other than, I guess you could applaud the creators for taking the creative reins off and just going crazy and having fun with it. Or you could go, what the fuck happened to my MLP? And I think there would be a valid argument for both, and I kind of sit somewhere in the middle ground. Another thing that bugged me was the Batman references would have been more welcome in the last episode than they are here. And then there's the issue that Brony Curious brought up in his review. I'm tired of the end of episode teasers. If they're building for something in the finale, that's cool. But if not, then just fucking stop. Please. It's fucking exasperating. And then there's the fact that every pony is a fucking jackass to Fluttershy in the song. Seriously, Main 6, I love you, but fuck you all. The joke with Spike also really annoyed me after last episode. I mean, really annoyed me. Then I got some major fuck yous to hand out to Twilight, Rarity, and Dashy. Twilight, stop fucking playing God. Every single time you do, you fuck things up so badly. You're supposed to be the genius of the group, right? So stop acting like a retarded little bint. Rainbow, wow, did you just prove Kimmy Sparkle right and confirm yourself to be a raging alcoholic? Nice one, oh mighty hero and possible military cadet. Seriously, I'm going to report this straight to Spitfire herself, you psycho little bitch. And Rarity, nice show of speciesisms here. You stuck-up little brat. Also, if the stare is something that requires a bit of conscious control on Fluttershy's part, which contradicts what she said back in Stairmaster, but that was already broken ages ago, how the flying feather can she use it on herself? Hello, Merryweather, explain that one to me. I'm just not getting it over here. Also, sadly, I think those side morals, as Biter points out in his review, are just unintentional side effects of the type of episode that Merryweather is telling here. This isn't Ferngully or anything like that, but the product of two characters arguing issues of business ethics and issues of practicality and foresight. It's because animals are at stake that we're projecting ecological and animal rights concerns onto it. At least on AJ's end, that's not what she's actually arguing about, though. She's looking through the lens of a business pony debating things on a purely business level. Also, I know I defended the lack of a key back in the Daring Don't episode by referring to the early seasons of Teen Titans. But really, it's starting to get too long now. Please move that plot forward an iota at some point soon. And finally, this is more a personal gripe than a fault of the actual episode, but I find Flutterbat to be too fucking literal. When I talk about Fluttershy having a beast inside of her she struggles to keep in check, I don't mean a literal Mr. Hyde character, but rather I'm speaking symbolically of her temper, and how I can relate to her because, having a similar temper, I understand how she feels, and I understand how she tries to avoid letting it out by trying to avoid conflict at all costs, which for her means limiting her contact with the outside world and practically being a hermit. This is something metaphorical, not literal. Flutterhawk I let slide last episode because it's an alternate universe story. Giving us a visual representation of that metaphor is okay in that type of setting. Here, it just feels overdone. As an aside, is it just me, or were these last two episodes attempts by the writers of putting her hoof down to try to make up for their character assassination of Flutters in that episode? If so, Fullerton's attempt was more successful. She was able to write a good Fluttershy with a satisfying monster transformation without it hurting the others. Williams, being Williams, didn't do that. Nope, she built Fluttershy up by making everyone else suddenly a completely random asshole. Urgh! Merryweather, do you know why you're so hated in this fandom? It's because we know you can do better. You won 2 Emmys. You wrote for Camp Lazlo. Character-driven stories are things you excel at, and you've brought none of it to this series. We don't hate you just to hate you. We hate you because we're disappointed in you. We know what you're capable of. We want you to bring your best effort because we know how amazing it is. All we ask is for you to do what we know you can do, not put in the 1/4 effort you seem to be putting in now. You know who you remind me of, Meriwether? Jeff Loeb. For those that don't know, Jeff Loeb is a TV writer that broke into comics in the 90s and right out the gate produced some truly beloved and critically acclaimed works. Batman Haunted Knight, The Long Halloween, and Dark Victory for DC, and the color line for Marvel, Daredevil Yellow, Spider-Man Blue, Hulk Gray, and Captain America White. Then, for seemingly no reason, he started producing gory, mean-spirited, poorly put together trash like Ultimatum. That's what you become, Meriwether Williams. Are you fucking proud of that? To wrap things up, I'm still conflicted about this episode. It's fun as hell to watch, but objectively, it's easily the worst episode of the season so far. To try to give this a numerical score, which is almost impossible, I have to try to average it out. On an entertainment level, I give it 4 stars. It's incredibly fun, it's got great visuals, and for what it is, it's pretty dang effective. On an analytical level, though, it's only worth 2 stars. Objectively, it's a terrible piece of trash, but it's fun in the watching a train wreck kind of variety, I guess. You average both scores out, and this is a perfectly middle-of-the-road 3-star episode. I hope you have yourselves a great new year, and get yourself blitzed as fuck, because what I plan to review next will sober your ass up in a hurry. Take 3 guesses what it might be. Until next time, bye.